everybody, it's Leslie from welovejones.com and We Love Jones here on YouTube, and I'm coming to you today with my Friday vlent video. At least it's Friday when I'm filming it. It may not post till Saturday morning. And this is a response to a Catholic Mom's Life open collab tag, and her tag is What's Up Christians, and she posts 10 questions that she invited us all to answer. And so I'm just gonna dive right in. Question number 1 is what I'm loving lately. And if you are a returning viewer, then you know that back in October I became the youth director at the Catholic church I belong to. And you know, Lent being such an important season liturgically to kind of make sure you really make an impact in the lives of the young people under your care, I've been encouraged, and I've decided to do Stations of the Cross with the high school, with the youth group. This Sunday will be our first time, and I looked at different guides, and I ended up choosing the one by Life Teen. There's little, let me compare it to the size of my hand. It's not very big, it's real compact, but it's just perfect for high schoolers. If you're not familiar with Stations of the Cross, you kind of go through the 14 events of the Lord's Passion, and you know, you kind of litany style, there's a speaker, a leader, and then everyone responds, and then there's a reflection. And in this version, you say Our Father, Hail Mary, and a Glory Be. And it's just perfect. You know, a 2-page layout is one station, and it goes through our 14 stations. What I ended up loving the most about Life Teen's version of Stations of the Cross guide was this little explainer of the stations by JP2. And I had heard that there was, you know, some debate. Is there 15? Is there 14 stations? There's traditionally been 14 stations, but the JP2 stations are a little different. There's a 15th one, and there's an explanation of what, you know, the difference. And in the back, there's a great introduction about doing Stations of the Cross kind of on your own. That's great at the front of it. And so this is what I've been loving lately, and I'm can't wait to do this with the teenagers this Sunday. Question number 2 is what have I been up to lately? Homeschool, lots of homeschool. I homeschool my 3-year-old son. We've been doing a K4 curriculum with him, and you know, that keeps me pretty busy. There's not a lot of prep work. There was actually more prep work in K3 than there was in K4, but anyway. And then I have my part-time job, and then just life at home. I also am board member of the local homeless coalition, and that eats up a big chunk of my time. Certainly did in January because of the homeless count. And then I go to MOPS every month. I go twice a month to Mothers of Preschoolers. That's what MOPS stands for. And they have events. They recently had a social event, and that was awesome. I also recently saw Black Panther, which was great. I saw that with my husband. We kind of had a date night. That was awesome. And then YouTube's the other thing I kind of keep up with. So that's what I've been up to. Question number 3, a prayer God has answered lately. And for sure, I would say that the answer to that is God has, without fail, answered the call for volunteers. Every Sunday when I meet with the young people for youth group, I am required to have one other adult there with me. And sometimes the person that was scheduled to be with me has something come up and wasn't able to be there. And that's happened a couple Sundays in a row where there's something on the books, a Sunday that was scheduled for a youth group. And, you know, down to the day of, I'm thinking, do I need to cancel because I don't have another person that's going to be there with me, another adult that has gone through the protection of children training that is required by the diocese. And just God provides. I mean, you know, I pray about it each week. The reason some of my volunteers have not been available are absolutely legitimate. For example, one of my volunteers' mother recently died, very sad, and she's not going to be around for probably several more weeks because of what happened. Her mother happened to be an organist at our parish for, I forget how many years, I think since 1994. So she was kind of an institution at my parish. So I didn't know her for that long, but I didn't know her. I just didn't, not for as long as other people had the privilege to know her. So anyway, God is so faithful, and every Sunday it works out. Question number 4, what I'm excited about. There's a couple different things. This weekend is my daughter's birthday. She turns 2 tomorrow. So I'm excited about that. We're throwing her a little birthday party. I'm also excited. On March 17th, I'm taking the teenagers from the youth group to Abbey Youth Fest. It's a smaller group than the larger group that meets on Sundays, but I'm excited to take any young people to Abbey Youth Fest, and that's in Covington, Louisiana. And I've never been to a Catholic event like that, so I'm certainly looking forward to experiencing something new like that with them. And then we're planning a trip to the aquarium soon in Atlanta. My son still has a shark interest, and we'd like to take him to the aquarium, and we don't necessarily want to wait till his birthday in July, so we're trying to make something happen a little sooner. And then the last thing I'm excited for is my daughter's baptism. So my daughter's almost 2 tomorrow, and I have not baptized her yet. And the reason is because there aren't any other Catholic relatives or really close friends that I live near. My husband's family is not Catholic, and he's not Catholic, and I just, asking somebody to be your baby's godparent is a really big deal. And there just hasn't been somebody to ask. With my son, we had baptized him when he was 5 months old. And his godparent was my husband's brother, who converted to Catholicism for his wife. So we've tried to make it work where, to plan a baptism for when they can be in town again, so they can be her baptism parents as well. And it just hasn't worked out in the past 2 years, or we haven't been able to go to Los Angeles to baptize her there, and they haven't been able to come to Mississippi so that we can baptize her here. And so I've kind of just at that point where I think I'm just going to ask somebody that's more of a casual acquaintance, because this is such an important thing. There's one person in particular at my parish that has kind of been there for me especially when I was pregnant with her. And I'm probably going to ask this special person who looked after me when I was pregnant with her, and ask her if she would be willing to be her godmother so that we can baptize her, because she's 2 and she hasn't been baptized yet. And I'm so ashamed about this, but it's important and it needs to get done. So I'm excited to baptize my daughter Sophia. Number 5, one random fun fact about me. And the most random thing I could come up with is when I was 22, I took my sister to, so I guess, well, that was 10 years ago. 10 years ago, I took my sister to a Star Wars convention in Los Angeles. So there's a Star Wars convention called Star Wars Celebration, and it's either every year or every other year. I think it's every other year, and it kind of alternates between the East and the West Coasts, and every so often it's also an international thing. I think one year it was in Japan. Anyway, I happened to live in Los Angeles, and so did my family, when it came to the Los Angeles Convention Center. And so as a bonding thing, I took my sister to a Star Wars convention, and so there's these great pictures of us with Darth Vader, and I also went with one day I went with my friend, my bestie, and so it was a great convention, and that we all got to nerd out on just all the awesomeness of Star Wars. It was great. So that's the most random thing I could come up with. Number 6, what is your favorite memory from last month? The answer is my son spontaneously asking for us to pray. Something, he was feeling unsettled about something, and he wanted to pray about it. And anytime, he's done that before, but it's becoming a more of a frequent thing, and it just gives me the feels. It makes me absolutely happy when he says that. So that it always sticks out in my mind when it happens. For a 3-year-old to want to pray out of his own volition, not because he's prompted to, that's to me, that's amazing. So where am I? Number 7. What God has taught me lately. So that would be coping with shame and how to build myself back up from it. I've been dealing with issues of shame for various reasons, and just shame is something that has come up for me a lot. Like, for example, like with my daughter's baptism issue, I just had to kind of get over it and just ask somebody else and just get it done. And so moving in that direction, just kind of not letting shame, a sense of shame, kind of stop me from what I need to do or what I know is right or whatever. So that's definitely something God is still working on me with. Number 8, what I'm watching, reading, or listening to lately. And the answer to that is curriculum reviews. We are on track to finish the BJU K4 curriculum by the end of April. So right now it is February, almost March, and it's time to start thinking about what curriculum I will use next year. And the answer is I will probably stick with BJU. I love BJU, and I don't have any reason to leave BJU. And so just kind of comparison shopping and hunting down used versions of things. Back when my daughter had just been born, she was just a few months old, somebody gave me old teacher's manuals for the phonics program. And so I have the current edition of their phonics teacher's manuals. So I really have part of the kit already. So I'm just trying to find used versions of everything else, with the exception of the consumable workbooks and a used version of the math portion of the curriculum for next year. So anyway, curriculum reviews, and mostly for Spanish. I'm thinking I'll go with BJU Spanish for kindergarten, even though their elementary Spanish doesn't start till 1st grade. I'm thinking I might just modify it and start it early. Or I'm thinking of song school Spanish, even though that's very classical in its approach. I might go with song school Spanish, and maybe supplement with Whistle Fritz, even though I don't like that their workbook isn't in color. I may not use the workbook, actually. I may just use the Whistle Fritz DVD. So anyway, I'm watching a lot of curriculum reviews because I homeschool my son. And yeah, so that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm watching. If you don't know, if you didn't watch my last weekend's Lent video, then you may not know that for Lent I gave up Netflix, Hulu, and Amazon Prime. So I'm not watching anything on that. I really only have time to watch TV that's on DirecTV. So yeah. Curriculum reviews is what I'm watching on YouTube. Number 9, what I'm praying about lately. And I'd say peace for my marriage. I've been praying a lot about my marriage. And not that there's any major significant issues or anything like that, but there's just a few things that have come up. And I have been praying very hard for peace for my marriage, because things have gotten... so this one thing has come up, and it's... kind of rattled the relationship. So anyway, peace for my marriage. Number 10, what Christian YouTuber you are loving lately. And this was a no-brainer because I am a youth minister at the Catholic Church, or youth director. I kind of follow young YouTubers on just to kind of get some insight about how to approach the faith to that demographic. And New Catholic Generation has become just a favorite channel of mine. They're a little older than the kids I work with, because the kids I deal with 6th grade through 12th grade, and a lot of the people on New Catholic Generation are in college, but they're close enough in age where I've just really enjoyed their just their content. They're great. So New Catholic Generation is a YouTube channel for a blog, and it's many young Catholic YouTubers that contribute to this channel. So I'm highly recommended. They'll do things like review different Christian movies, Catholic and non-Catholic. I think they went to March for Life, and they had some great content around that. yeah, their content can range from informational to funny to reviews. I love almost everybody on that. No, I love everybody on that channel. The young people who are generating content do a really good job. So that's it. That is the 10 questions that Catholic Mom's Life posted. This is an open collab, and so if you, I don't think she's limiting it to Catholics. So if you found this video and you don't happen to be Catholic, feel free to join in the open collab, so long as you put "What's Up Christian" in the title, and I'll link her video to this video so that you can find kind of how to link your video to hers. So anyway, thank you for stopping by. We're chugging along during Lent. I hope your Lent, if you observe Lent, I hope your Lent is going well and that you're growing spiritually. And I hope to catch you on the next video. Thanks everybody for stopping by. Take care.